자, 미니 비디오. 비디오. За, хай. Давд өдөр эхэллээ. Өнөөдөр бичлэг үзэх бай.
Nice TV.
It's old-fashioned.
I get my tech at
As I said, sorry, this
Окей, энийг үзсэн хоёрыг дундаас нь.
he didn't quite see it. If I take that, always look for checks, captures, attacks, takes, and then coming in here with check looks just decisive. I mean, it just looks like I'm gonna check and win the night. Okay, so 18 very, very good moves by my 1200 rated opponent, and then all of a sudden, catastrophe. Completely falls apart. You know, thinks the longest that he had all game, and then this is the longest that he thought all game for 26 seconds, and he just doesn't make a good sacrifice. So, one of two things happened there. I jinxed him. I complimented him so much that he ended up blundering and getting nervous. Or the other one, which was illegitimacy. Called him out. But you never know. That's just a free knight, and the rook is hanging. Again, how do you spot a move like this? Just look for checks. You know, you gotta look for it. If it's not there, or if there's a check but it's not any good, don't play it. As simple as that, bro. So, whoa. Yeah, he's missing everything now. That's not good. He only has one legal move here, and now let's try to find checkmate. Let's do a little calculation exercise. So we do have this check. That's not a good check. That is a good check. That's a check, and that's a check. So let's do this. Bishop c5, king e6, and actually we can bring in the second bishop, and that's just mate. So this is his only legal move. It's always smart to calculate
Legal moves.
the moves that minimize the opponent's options. Okay, so he has only one legal move. After this move, he has no legal moves. That's usually the best way to go. You know, the other way was bishop g4, and that would have not quite been mate because he has f5, although we win everything. But yeah, here we see white's pieces utilized to the, you know, maximum extent, and the queen actually hangs out in the corner and cuts everything off. That was a you know, an interesting game. He played this kind of Philidor Black Lion setup. Again, we just developed and went toward the center. This is a very interesting system, not castling, just going for g5. So I guess this guy was playing, yeah, like the Black Lion style, you know, that style of opening where you go aggressive and early on. I think that's what it's called. I see some folks in my live chat calling it that. All right. Let's keep it rolling. We're 1245. Now we get a 1294, so we still haven't crossed into the 1300 territory. Again, I for now I'm just gonna play King's Pawn against King's Pawn, but I will start playing more setup-based stuff in the next game. So Bishop c5, we just had this in the first game of this video. That game went castles, d3, knight c3. This guy plays d3. I'm just gonna copy him with d6. Yeah, he's still... I mean, this is so weird. Like, you shouldn't be thinking on move 5, you know? That's why it is good to have some openings foundation. Because if you're thinking on the 5th move of the game, you're just reinventing the wheel. Whoa! What is this? This ain't good, man. I mean, all grandmasters would be playing this if this was a real thing. That's just a free bishop. So the logic here of what he's doing is, you know, I can't take that. He's sacrificing material to get to my king, but if you just don't panic and just go back, like, there's nothing here. This is not how chess works. You know, queen h5 check, you just block. If queen f3, you can play knight f6 or even queen f6 offering the trade. You need +2. I just said that in the last game. You can't have one piece attacking the king. That's not going to win the game, you know? This is like the expedited fried liver of some sorts. Like, what is knight c3? You can't sack the bishop and then go knight c3. That doesn't make any sense. But there are some traps here, okay? There are some traps. Here's a trap, for example. If we attack the knight, okay, you would think he has to go back with the knight, but he doesn't. There's a concept in chess called danger levels, and to avoid the attack on his knight, he is going to counter-attack the king. And now we don't have g6 anymore, right? Because queen h5, we're going g6. But if we play h6, we no longer have g6 as a possibility. So let's just develop a piece for now, and then go h6. And then if we really want to get our king to safety, we can just castle by hand. Very common technique when our king's positioning has been shuffled. I'm joking that his play has been erratic, but it's not that bad. I mean, he is playing a little bit tricky. Like, for example, now, does he have any danger? No, we're covering that square. So we do have h6. We also just have a very simple move, knight d4 here, which attacks the queen and that square on c2. And, you know, he actually has to go back. Just, yeah. And now we're going to kick out this knight. So this is the way you punish overly aggressive play in the opening. This is going on YouTube. Yes, if you guys... oh, okay, so I can take that, but we know that from all these positions that the pin here is vicious. This is a very, very powerful pin. And the idea is to shatter the pawn structure that white has. I still can't castle, which is rather tragic. So let's think. I mean, do we want to castle by hand for instructional value? Do we want to take and then take to simplify? Let's take. He'll take. And then we'll take the bishop. And the idea is just to simplify. I've been preaching this throughout these videos. Just simplify, bring the bishop back. The only problem we have is that our king is in the middle. And we can't castle the king because he played bishop takes f7.
Тийм хэцүү юм баг та. Төв дээрээ центр дээр байгаа тэр ноён.
So we will need to castle by hand, which is when you move the king, move the rook, and then slide the other piece back. I think we'll just copy him, bring the queen to the center here. Which way are we gonna castle? I'm gonna let folks in the live stream determine. You guys let me know quickly. Short or long? Which way are we castling by hand? He castles long. All right. Looks like everybody's saying long. Somebody said you can't. I don't know what you can't means. You can always castle by hand. All right, so this is probably not the best move in the position right now, but I'm going to play rook d8. That is an excellent move. I actually was hoping he wasn't going to play that move. So his position is rather closed, right? And he's striking in the center, maybe anticipating my king walk, but also just the fact that my king is in the middle of the board, so it's good for him to do that. Now, I want him to take. I do not really want to take myself, because then, you know, he gets this, but he also opens the queen. Oh, man, this is... Ugh. You know, pawn moves. Queen is out now. This is not easy. All right, let me play a6. This is a prophylactic move, taking away b5. Now, not a lot of 1200s would play a6. A lot of people would react to this. You know, a lot of people would just continue with their plan and not realize that king d7 runs into this. That's a good move for me. So this is not a good move for him. He does not want to close the center. I should have gone to f7 if that was my plan. I rushed that. That's my bad. Okay, so I guess I'll have to castle by hand this way. So I should have castled by hand like that. But, you know, the lesson here is also that plans change. Oh my goodness, he's really coming after me, but I have something here. f4 is a blunder. And the way that you find this mistake, checks, captures, attacks, every move. He makes a move. Okay, so we can take that, but he just takes back. Then we can take this, but it's guarded. Attacks. That last move allowed us to attack something. Always look for maximum danger. Bishop g4. Right? That last move enabled us to find that move. And again, if you just scan this briefly, all titled players don't say these things out loud to themselves, but okay, queen c4, is that attacking anything? Not really. That's guarded, so I'm just going to gobble the rook. I don't have a lot of time, so I do need to play a bit faster. Okay, let's go for the castle by hand. We only have 19 seconds, but there is 2-second increment, so I will not be flagging. And now we're up a rook, so probably the technique here is simplify, win a few pawns, and get the position into an endgame. So rook f8. He takes. I can take with the pawn or the queen. My queen looks pretty. Oh no. Okay, even a title player can make a mistake in time trouble. I gave him c7. That was not smart. That was not smart. Okay, rook d7. And those on YouTube won't see this, but we did just get a big raid. Thank you, Alessia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. We're currently doing the part 2 of Gotham Guide, which is when I'm basically playing from a low rating. Queen's under attack. That's guarded. Don't take it. We're currently 1200 to 1400.
Don't take it.
Playing against folks here. Yes, we castled by hand. Excellent. And now we can actually maybe even use the open C file against him. Pressure here as well. So we've castled by hand. The king's out of danger. Everything's good. A lot of different concepts in this game. Okay, like I said, open C file. He just moved his queen off the C file. Let's go bulldoze him. That is a free pawn, though. That pawn is free. You can take it if you want. There's a lot of good moves right now. No threat, so let's create a threat. All right, and now when he moved that, this was hanging, but I can also take it with the knight. I'll take it with the queen. I want a queen trade. If he takes this, then I bulldoze in with this pawn. Okay, he trades queens, which is probably not very smart. He kills all chances of survival. Any threat there? No. All right, what do? B5. Let's play on this pin, try to go B4. He plays 96. Let's not forget, the rook is under attack. Let's bring the rook to the open file. Rook, open file, those things go hand in hand. This knight's very annoying. I might consider trading it off. That's exactly what I'm going to do, because he just checked, he attacked it. If I get rid of the knight, my position becomes a lot easier to play, actually. So, I could take with a pawn attacking the rook, but then I give him a passer. I'll take with the rook, then offer a rook trade. This game is all about simplifying, so I'm not looking to use my material advantage to win the game. I am looking... Okay.
Oh my god.
We just get this into a rook endgame, and rook is devastating here. I'm just going to take every single pawn he has. Just be careful about his passed pawn. I don't even have to take that. I can now begin to push my pawns. Don't be afraid of this. Your rook is always strong enough to stop it, not to mention that your king is in the square. So I can just push. That is... And I always have that in my back pocket, so I will just push. Now I have to stop the pawn, because he was a square from queening. H2, and yeah, I mean... I am queening and so is he, but the problem for him is that this happens. And now probably the easiest way to win, cut the king off on the back rank. I could have made a second queen, and now just walk my king around and mate him. It's just the easiest. King here. And that's actually made in 1. Okay.
Are you tired of leaving a job interview thinking you did well and never receive a call back and wonder what you could be doing?
That game was hard work. I mean, even for me, like this guy was very solid, even though we've been up a piece since move 5. So just a couple of things. I mean, don't be put off by stuff like this. All right, like bring the king back to the home square. The rule of +2. He doesn't have 2 more attacking pieces than you have defenders. But the other thing is danger levels. Okay, danger levels. Don't throw in moves like h6. That move actually just loses the game. Which is why his strategy wasn't that dumb. Like, I was making fun of it. He blunders a bishop and then he just plays a developing move. I'm sure he's beaten people like that. Like, he didn't just decide to do this in this game. I'm sure he's beaten people like this in the past. So,
Тэгэхээр зарим хүмүүсийн чадвар нь early дээр амарлаг тоглодог. Зарим нь болохоор жишээ нь материал солилтын дээр ч юм хүн дээр ч юм уу илүү болчдөг. Зарим нь бүр end game дээр сайн тоглодог ч юм уу тийм юм байт юм шүү дээ. Одоо чинь энэ гай болохоор зөвхөн early дээр юм жижигхэн tracker хийж байгаа шүү дээ. Тэгээд дунд хэсэг дээр очиж ирэнгүүт амар бландер гаргаад миний бландер биш шал өөр юм шүү. Удахгүй засарчна.
Right, like this is important. Danger levels. You always need to look for checks, captures, and attacks, but also for your opponents. Like, super, super important. H6 just loses. That's why get developed, get everybody going. All right, we're 1265. Let's keep it rolling. Somebody asked me if I should play 5-minute games. Maybe, but this is also not so bad. And I mean, you can always, rewatch it later. Another E4. Okay, I'm gonna play the King's Indian setup, which is an opening that's not E5. There's 2 types of openings. There's theoretical openings.
л та. М, 38% жоо Кингсийн тэгээд Кингс 38% ялах магадлалтай. 37% тэнцэх магадлалтай. Хожих магадлал 25%. Тэгэхээр дайжгүй хамгаалт юм шүү. За тэгэхээр бодъё. Queen-ийнхаа хүүхдэлх нь орой гаргаж ирнэ.
Openings, which is when you need to know which moves to play at the exact right moments, and they're setup-based openings. Setup-based openings.
Өнөөдөр би өдөр нэг юм харсан чинь нэг guy ярьж байхдаа тэгжсэн. Puzzle хийгээд алдаа гаргахаа болчдөг гэлөө.
You just
Тийм сонсож байсан.
look for the same kind of position most of the time. So here we go. This is the King's Indian setup. You don't really care the way he sets up. That's a very weird way to set up, by the way. Is he going to castle long? No. Okay. Well, he prevented me from playing bishop g4. I'm going to play knight c6 and attack this pawn in the center. If he pushes, I can just hop in anyway. This guy's playing pretty well. Yeah, he's playing pretty well so far. Opposite side castling means that he's going to be attacking in this on the king side and maybe in the center. And I don't want to give him this pin, so I think I'm just going to attack his bishop right away. This is a pretty annoying bishop. And he just leaves. Okay, well that was very kind of him. Now I can play e5, and if takes, just knight takes. He pushes. Now, hops to the side here don't really do anything. You might be thinking I'm getting toward his king. You're not doing anything. He's just going to attack your knight, and here you have no moves. In the King's Indian, we very often slide behind the pawns. And for the King's Indian, wow, this guy is aggressive. Goodness, he wants to go g5. Let's route this knight backwards too. Rook, queen on the same file. Common attacking idea in the King's Indian is f5. Man, this is going to be a very complicated game. I can already tell. This guy is Smurf. Playing really well. I'm always curious. But doesn't look like it. Takes. Hello, friends. Let me know your thoughts thus far. That move is the first weird move that he made. That move got out of the threat of the rook, but it doesn't do anything. Let's attack the bishop. Now the bishop has to retreat. And maybe we can get real tricky here and okay. So this is a good question. Is my king exposed? Your king is only exposed if your opponents have a clear way of attacking it, okay? You need to look at the G file. The G file is a bit open, but he's pretty far from an attack, and I can always tuck my king to the H file behind my pawn and cover myself with my pieces. Not to mention that here, I do just have a way to kick his queen out, so it's not that dangerous. I was thinking of f3, and if he takes, knight f6 actually traps his queen. The problem with f3 is that I just reopened this.
Queen юу явах гэдэг шүү.
But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set a trap, I think. How do we set a trap here? Can we maybe make him play the move knight f3 and then trap his queen with knight f6? Like, what if we play a6? I'm just being tricky. Oh, he did it! And we trap his queen. A very natural move. Just developing, looking for rook g1, but that was actually his queen's escape path. And now his queen's trapped. Haha! That's how you set a trap. Because I want knight f6 right away was good. It would have forced this queen back. But we wanted him to play the natural move knight f3. Okay, and now he just gives away a queen for a pawn, which is rather silly. And we are obviously completely winning. So he played completely reasonably. Okay, check. And this is an example of how our king is not actually that exposed. We're only dealing with one open file. And it's not so bad. We're just going to trade the rook and everything's fine. So, good lesson there. Don't just jump in with your queen. Your queen should not be leading the attack. I mean, she should be coming in after the reinforcement.
Queen leading. Yeah.
movements. Knight g5, is there any threat? Now rook g8 is not a good move because of this. I can take... I also can play a move like bishop g4, which attacks the rook and is guarded. Okay, he attacks me. Now probably bishop just back here is completely reasonable. And, oh, I blundered a fork. Oops. All right, well, it just goes to show you. I mean, you know, I got off the diagonal. The good thing is, you know, despite getting carried away and blundering that, I'm still up a queen. So even if you win the knight or the rook, it's not so bad. All right, now let's look to simplify. We're getting the rook off the board. And now I guess he's letting us go down here. Let's follow the path of the rook. He sidestepped, so we're just getting in here. The position has a closed nature. Closed position means a lot of pawns on the board, usually locked up or just far apart from each other. So how do you get in a locked position? Open files and also pawn play. So we are going to attack the bishop. And then the open files are on that side. So there is an infiltration point. It's on the king side. Well, he's castled queen side, but it's on the king side. So we get in with the queen. I can take that. I can also just push. In fact, pushing renders this knight pretty useless, because he has to go here or here, and that is under attack. But after I just play a5, look at this knight. I mean, it's dominated by a pawn. c3, I can take, but let's not forget that I also was creating my own threats, right? I mean, this is why I came here. I can take that as well. It does have an extra attacker, and I do have this as well. And by the way, I have this very, very, very nice thing here.
Hey.
Right? I mean, that is hidden in all of this. Is that I have this, and I also have removing the guard. Two things guard the bishop, but if I take the knight, and then he takes, and I take the bishop, I win the bishop. But let me take this bishop, and, well, the queen and the bishop meet here. Queen to mate. My chat is screaming about my time. Guys, title players are always aware of their time. Don't worry. Don't worry. I see my time. I know. And I know that I have a 2-second bonus, so that comfort for me is, you know, a lot of people, time for them induces panic. But it's not so bad. I mean, as a title player, we've played 25,000 games probably where we've had less than 10 seconds. So, yes, exactly. Someone in the chat says his real strength is 1700, not 1280. So, I know that people watching, you know, their chat, you know, the time might be freaking them out. I might play a Caro-Kann in my next one. I might.
Yeah.
E4, D4. Let's go for a D4. Go for D4. And just play normal stuff.
Би болохоор цагаанаас нэг хэсэг юу гэвэл Queen-ээр эхлэе гэж бодож байгаа. Хар бол нэлээд options-тай байсан дээр айл нь яаж эхэлж байгаас шалтгаалаад цагаан би өөрөө эхэлж байгаа болохоор Queen-ээс ихэнхдээ эхлэнэ гэж бодож байгаа. Тэгээд яванда дараагийн ээлжинд E4 буюу нөгөө King-ийнхаа өмнөөс нүдэг юм хий гэж бодлоо. Тэгээд дандаа Queen.
I can go for a London. I'll go for a Fianchetto.
It's a fact. The new economy creates 1,700 millionaires every single day. Like, really let that
setup. Knight f3, g3, bishop g2, this kind of stuff. Very solid. This is like from Keep It Simple. And then c4 and knight c3. So pretty easy setup here. And I'm just going to take the full center. Okay, he gave me the full center. I'm going to take The full center, now we have a King's Indian defense by my opponent, which I just played with black. Very common idea here is to push. And let me close the center. Okay, so we just had this structure last time. He comes out with knight c5. He's attacking this pawn. I'm going to bring my knight back. Maybe I can pin him. I can also play queen c2. Let me go knight d2. This setup, it doesn't have any sort of name. It's kind of the Catalan. This setup is known as the Catalan setup with d4, c4, knight f3. Bishop g4 attacks my queen, but I can just attack his bishop. That's the one thing about this I don't really understand. And the other thing is, oh man, that's not a good move. This knight doesn't have a permanent home here. I can just attack it, you know, with b4. That's actually why, if you're a King's Indian player, you need to play a5 after you play knight c5, because now your knight just gets dominated on a6. Okay, so I have more space, and in a position where you have more space, you really can call the shots, right? Do I have to take that? No. Can I take that? Is it good for me? If takes, I get b5. That's a fork. But if takes, I mean, I don't really... Let's do it. For instructional value, let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, everybody. Everybody gets their rating back. Don't worry. And now, knight b3. The knight move opens up the queen, attacking the d6 pawn. That pawn is a very big target, and he just didn't see that. So, the Catalan is super theoretical, but not at this level. If you just want to play the Catalan for a setup, is that a free pawn? That might be not really a free pawn, because he has some tricks with the bishop. I'm a little scared of taking that pawn. Let me just reinforce on the d file with my rook. Something like this. So it's not super theoretical because people aren't going to be playing the critical lines. They're just going to be, you know, just developing their pieces in ways that look logical. Let's finish our development with the move bishop e3. And now our rooks are out, all of our pieces are out. Our queen is a little bit precariously placed, but she does have a way back home. And knight d4 doesn't really... Oh, it does, actually. There is a trick here. Knight d4. Knight d4. Knight d4 actually is the best move. Okay. Do we want to trade queens? I mean, not really, but also whatever.
Whatever. Okay.
That's not free anymore. Let's just bring our last rook into the game. And, okay. This is another instructional game. Closed position. How do we proceed from here? What are the right pawn breaks, right? All closed positions, you're looking at pawn breaks. b5, f4. f4 is not that great. I feel like f4 just opens stuff unnecessarily. It opens the bishop maybe for him. His dark squared bishop. It also maybe allows knight g4. That's a weird move. Let's try to focus on the queen side. So let's play like a4, b5, maybe c5, maybe knight c5. To trade like this. Seems like that's a very powerful spot for our bishop. That is an attack here, but the idea was just also to march forward. So I can take with the knight or the pawn. I mean, generally it's good to keep your things together. So maybe I'll go c takes b5. And we have a very clear target on a7. Okay, that is an attack on our knight. Are we pinned? Not really. We can move the knights. Can we move it to d5? Is that the right move? Tough decision. Knight d5. If he takes, I take. He takes my rook. I take. He takes. Gonna be a big trade. Yeah, I kind of like this. And I like it because at the end, a7's gonna be a problem. Let's not forget that when all the
жижигнэр мэрэл айлгаа уламжуугаар тэгэл хамгаалалтаа сайжруулна.
rooks come off, a7's just, it's gone. And when a7 disappears, our majority of pawns on the queen side, again, queen side pawn majority, is going to be a big problem. But here I also have what's called an in-between move. I don't have to take the rook. I can take like this, and then he takes, and then I can take. So the difference would be that I don't have to shift my pawn forward. It's very tough to tell if that's what I want or not. So I think I'm just going to take the rook. I don't know if this is the right decision. So he takes, and now I don't want to take with the bishop, because I don't want to lose the target there. So I'm going to take with the knight. And again, he doesn't have a... His only clear way of guarding this is to play knight to d4. He needs to interpose. He has to go here. And he does. Okay, to his credit, he does play the best move. Not bad. So I need to find a way to get rid of this knight. Knight e2, knight b3 are not possible, but if I play king f2 and then knight e2, that looks pretty smart. Knight e7 was not working, guys, because even though it was a fork, he had taken a rook already, so I'm down a rook in that position. f4 I can play, but it doesn't actually help me, because when he takes, the bishop is still guarding the knight. This and f4, though, might be something. He doesn't have to move the knight, though. He does not have to move the knight, and he does have a path here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and then play this timely move, which I think will put all hopes to rest. I'm covering this, and now bishop b8, bishop a7. That's the pawn that I need to get to.
За 30 минут болсон. За геймлиг орцгоё. Миний камер дахиад хоёр адилхан камерт авах гэдэг юм л да. За биглээ. Хаашаа явах вэ? Хэрвээ идвэл идэлцэн гэж бодож. Зүгээр. За тэгэхээр ингэж завангар тэгж орж ирэх гэж байгаа юм тий. Стамбул шарыг жоо үгүй. Жишээ энэ үйлчлэг хийж. Оо, тийм учраас. За, одоо бодё. Инглээ. А? Ядуу. What are you doing? Ачаач. Одоо барыг солилцсон нэр юм шүү. За ачаа. Энэ нөхөр намайг бол чиглэж чадахгүй гэхдээ хаашаа нүүж чадах вэ? За. Это сонголт байхгүй. Ерөөсөө биш ажиллаа. Дараа нь хаашаа нүүж. тэрэг гэдэг чинь. What the heck? Юу бүр амар дуртай солилцсон шүү дээ. Юу яриад байгаа. За, одоо ганцаар энэ нөхөр юу гэж чадах юм? Мгм. Тийшээ чек гэж юм тий. Хоорондоо холбоотойсэн дээр бах тий. Yes. Дэлгэр хэлээ. Alright. За миний бодлоор энэ амар дайчгүй харагдаад байна. Ой, хаачих юм минийхөө. Яг яг жил тань. Одоо ч аюулт болоод ирнэ. Тийшээ очих гэж байгаа юм уу? Чадах уу? Нэг, хоёр, гурав дахь. Байж болох л тэгвэл аюултай юм тий. Хоёр болоод ирэнгууд нь зайлуулж авахгүй бол. Аимшигтэй. Энэ талаас орж ирэх үү гэсэн. Солисноо яд. Өөрийгөө зорж ирэх юм. Олон надад давуу тал нь голын 3 хөвөл энэ 3-ыг л цаашаага энэ болгож гаргаж ирлээ. Энэс хоёр захын хүнүүд нүдүүлэх амар зөвхөн бүгд чигд. Оо яа. За, нэг диагноз тийш орж ирнэ. Яаж тийм. Юу ингэчүүл энэ ингэч юм л нэ. Юу би ингэч биш бүр ингэчих юм бол энийг алдчих гэдэг. Хийсэ. Одоо бод инглээ идчих юм бол ийш орчих. Тэгэхээр энэ идэхгүй. Ямар юм чи? ямар ч юу байхгүй. Байхан байхгүй шууд орох. Ингээд биш. Үгүй бол эднэрийн бодууд нь ямар ч идэхгүй байгаа байхгүй. Тэр надад ашигтай. Идэхгүй байгаа бод гэвэл эдний. What the heck? Би зүгээр яа тийш. Амар сүртэй юм ярьсан чи өөрөө. Андер би ярина. Арай л чичээ. Окей. Нэг Хоёр. Хамгаалж чадахгүй яалтчмаа. Ягаад ч хамгаалж чадахгүй те. Ихээ яах вэ? Бишээ нүүл би ингэ чинь. Нүүх. Бишээ нүүж чадахгүй. Бишээ очих юмас ингэж болчих. Очиж байгаа юм биш үү? Бишээ. Зургаан бландер гэсэн харсан зүрх. Олд бинон. Буруу. За. Зүгээр амар юм боллоо л доо. Нэг нэхгүй. Чигона. Ээж ингэн гот наад нөхөрч аа. Иш авч юм. Гур заваарах гэдэг тийм. Аваа юм биш үү? Окей. Надад гоё трик байна. Юу гэж? Яагаад уншил ороод ирв? Би нэг идэнэ гэж бодсон. Яагаад алдчихлаа. Игчээ. Болорлоо шүү нэ. За гэхдээ энэ зүгээр. Харин энэ ч орж ирвэл ямар арга. Энийг хөдлөж болохгүй ишээ гэж. Энийг хөдлөж. Ингэж ингээд юм байна. Энэ бол идэх гэж. Миний 3 дахь гейм хаа та. Хичээн шүү. Tournament-д орно гэдгсэн. 1200 гэлж чадахгүй бол цаашаа яаж болох юм? Санаа. Энэ хүүд үсгдэг бүр гэхдээ агуу юм тий. Ингээл айдсан. It's not like it's нэрээ хэдлэх. Инглээ надад тэр тиймэр энэ ирэхт. Ингэчлээ гэдэг энийг идчих нэ. Чиглээ. Биш явлаа. Hey. Зүгээр юм шүү. Оноогоо илүү буюу ингэж л юм. Beyond гэдэг шүү дээ. Org. Мөртөө тоглож байгаа фрок руу болчихсон шүү. Одоо жинхэнэ бүр амар фокус хийчихсэн. Нэг задлаа, идлээ. Фокус хийчихсэн. За байж. Нэг гэдэг ч юм уу. Гоо. Очин тийм. Чек сүгэ. За. Нүгэл. Би зүгээр идэж болох юм шүү дээ бас. Энэ юм сонсож. Ой, именно что. За ордон тоглож байгаа жинхэнэ блендер. Энэ нэр хүүгээ төлөх гэж болж байна. Бодоо алдчихсан байна. Ингээд өгч юм. За сүүлийн юм дээр бол баах юм алдсан. Нэг амар план байсан. План биш үү? Би яг бодчихтэй шал димиж юм. Энэ дээр бас яасан. Насад хамгаалч юм. Энийг яасан. Яг миний ихний бодсон юм их зүг байд юм шүү дээ. Ер нь жижиг. Аюул жоохон ороод тэр болгоныг нь шууд. Ай. Би бас энийг бодож ирсэн. Дээрээс нь би амар одоо ямар тоо эми үрээс. За 5 дахь өдөр нэг юмрхүү техникний 2 ижил. Баярлалаа.